Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel.
Wait, start over.
And before Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another special guest with me. I have my sister Chloe, and we're going to be making a nice spicy condiment for you guys today. So I have some leftover golden apples that we had sitting in the bottom of the fridge, and before they got too ripe, I wanted to make something really spicy and something that you could dip your bar in, your pulari in, or something of the sort. So we have some golden apples that are about to turn ripe, not super ripe yet. We're gonna add in lots of pepper, lots of garlic, and those traditional seasonings that you would make some achar with. So we have the Amchar masala, some geera, as well as some mangrile powder. So Chloe, are you ready to put this together?
Yeah.
And before we get into the recipe, I just wanted to mention I had to include Chloe in this video today because Chloe loves pepper. She practically drinks it. So we're gonna put this together, and she's definitely gonna enjoy this when this is done. So let's get into it. Alright, so I went ahead and I turned on our gas stove. We're cooking this outside today. One, because I wanted to show you guys how a gas stove works with my new Coach pot sets. And I also wanted to not do it inside because we're using a lot of pepper and a lot of heavy spices, and I feel like it might choke everybody inside. So we're just going to do it outside here. So I'm going to go ahead and add in our oil. I'm using canola oil today, and you're going to need a good amount of oil, probably about half a cup. Because remember, when you're making achar or any of these condiments, you want it to be oily so this way it preserves it and it stays for a long time. So I went in with about half a cup there. And at this point, I'm going to have Chloe go in with our garlic. And it's not super hot yet. We're just going to add in the garlic while the oil is heating up, so this way it can start to perfume that oil. And again, you don't want it to be sizzling up too much because garlic burns really quick. Alright, so Chloe just went in with all the garlic. We're going to start to stir that up. We're going to get that garlic nice and married and flavoring all of that oil. And again, we're not trying to get the garlic super brown here. We just want it to start to flavor the oil. So while Chloe stirs it up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add in our hot peppers. Now I'm using a combination of habanero peppers today, as well as some wiri peppers. I wanted that traditional Guyanese taste with the wiri peppers, but I also wanted that heavy spiciness that the scotch bonnet peppers have. So we're just going to stir this up, allow those to perfume the oil for about 30 seconds, and then we'll move on to the next step. So we've had the garlic and the hot peppers frying up for about 30 seconds now. As you guys can see, it's starting to splatter a little bit more. So we're going to go in with all the spices, but before we put them in, I just wanted to show you what we're using. We're using some Amchar masala. Hold on. And besides the Amchar masala, we're using some ground cumin or ground geera, and we're also using some mangrile, also known as nigella seeds. I'll have everything in the description box down below, all the measurements and ingredients. And guys, I'm sorry for all the background noise. We just decided to do this outside, and I feel like everything is deciding to be noisy at this point, but it's okay. So I'm gonna go in with everything now, just to allow it to perfume the oil as well. So Chloe's gonna go ahead and stir it up really well. And you don't want to burn these spices because they can get very bitter if you cook them for too long. After stirring your spices around for about 30 seconds, you're going to go in with some water, so this way you can create a thick paste. Adding in that water and letting it cook down really well ensures the spices are no longer grainy and you don't get that raw flavor. So I did that, I stirred it around, and once you see the oil starting to separate it and it get very grainy, then it's time to go ahead and move on. I forgot to get that part recorded, but I'm telling you now. So at this point, Chloe is going to go in with our golden apples. And this is the way that I chopped up the golden apples. We peeled it and we cut them into about quarters or like 5 pieces each. We don't want them too big, nor do we want them too small. So she's gonna put them in now. And be careful when you're adding them in. Don't put your face too close to this because it will pitch up a little bit. And you're gonna keep stirring it up until everything is nice and coated in all of these spices.
This smells really good.
Alright Chloe, we stirred this up for a little bit now. The golden apple has cooked down really well with the spices for about 3 minutes at this point. So I'm going to ask you to add in the salt, or get me the salt so we can add that in. And again guys, this might be a good 2-person job because at all times you need to keep stirring and moving it around because you don't want these spices to burn. So at this point we're going to go in with some salt. And when you're making condiments like this, you need to go heavy with the salt because you want these things to be salty and heavily flavored for when you're eating it alongside your other food items. So I'm going to go in with that much for now. Again, all of my ingredients and measurements will be down in the description box below, so you guys can look out for that when you're getting ready to make this. So now that we've added in the salt, I'm going to lower the heat to the lowest setting. I'm going to cover this pot and I'm going to allow it to cook down until these golden apples are nice and cooked and no longer hard.
Hey guys, so since we're outside, we figured we would pick some cilantro from our garden and rip some inside the pot.
So this is just going to give it a really nice freshness, and honestly we're just tearing it in, we're not chopping it up or anything, and that's going to give it a nice fresh flavor when we add it in. And if you don't have this, you can add in some cilantro. Alright everyone, so the golden apple achar condiment looks really good right now. As you guys can see, it's nice and dry. All those spices have cooked up really well all over the golden apple. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go in with just a little bit of water. And the reason why I'm going in that water is just because that golden apple really needs to cook down, and I feel like the water is going to help it. And also with all of the spices in there, you want the spices to cook down as well, so you need to add in a little bit of liquid. And before I let it cook down even more, I'm going to go in with just a little bit of some brown sugar, just so this way it can cook down with it and it can add a nice little sweet savory flavor to it. Now it's very salty, which is what we want, but we want to counterbalance it a little bit, being that those golden apples were green as well and they were a little sour. So I'm just going in with about 2 tablespoons worth, and that's it. Alright guys, this cooked golden apple achar has cooked down really well. As you guys can see, some of them are falling apart. It's not super mushy or anything like that. You still want it to have a little bit of body to it, but as you guys can see, it has a nice little gravy with all that oil and all the spices and the pieces of pepper and garlic. Now you guys might be alarmed, this looks really dark in color. Trust me, it is not burnt, it tastes just fine. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. So all you're going to want to do is go ahead and give it a little taste for salt. If you want to add in more pepper or more garlic or any more spices, or if you want to lessen the spices even, feel free to do whatever floats your boat. So I hope you guys enjoy this one.
Alright everyone, we hope you enjoyed this video.
And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet. Make sure you click that little bell notification icon and you'll be notified anytime I post my newest videos. And of course, leave the comments down below and let me know what you guys would like to see next on my channel. In the meanwhile, we're gonna go cook up something really delicious to enjoy this golden apple achar with.